Hi, Darren here from EnglishTuition.org. Now in today's video, I want to talk about some of the students that I can't work with. So when parents get in touch with me, they ask questions about my background, they ask me about the way I teach, but sometimes they don't reveal information about their own children. So I just want to put it out there that there are some students that from my own experience that I know that it's not going to end up well, right? So if you are a parent out there watching this video, if you find that any of your child fall into this category, note that I can't help you, right? If you need help, okay, at the end of the video I do have some suggestions. So let's get started. Now, the first group of students that I have trouble working with are students who are out of control. Alright, so some students have got self-control issues. Now, in order for me to teach, the students must have, to a certain extent, the ability to sit down and focus while I'm teaching, right? And so that they can absorb some of the content that is being delivered during the lesson itself. Now, students who are out of control, typically they interrupt you, they just talk over you, they just do whatever they want, even to the extent of falling asleep the moment the lesson starts, right? So this group of students are what I would classify as out of control students. There are many reasons that account for this behavior, but I'm not going to go into that at this point, because then it's going to be make the video too lengthy, right? And I just want to focus on identifying the students that I cannot work with. Now, the second type of students that I can't work with, okay, are students who tend to become violent, right? These are students with anger management issues. They may have some problems in their life, right? And they somehow it affected them to the extent that they are angry most of the time. And when they're angry, they act out, they shout, and they kind of turn violent towards you when you're giving them negative feedback, and they're angry with you all the time. So these are the kids that I can't really help, okay? And I'll give you my reasons why towards the end of the video. Alright? And the next group of students that I can't really work with are students with a really poor attitude, okay? And I keep telling my students, right, I do not judge the students, and I take in all types of students, right? Students who are in Foundation English, students in the NA stream, students who are in the Express stream. I have one student from the SEP school. So these students are very different, and they have different levels of intellect. Now, I tell my students, you are born with what you have, alright? This is something that you cannot choose, and it's not within your control. So who am I to judge your intelligence, right? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, right? So I do not judge my students, right? I take them in and I try to help them as much as possible, okay? To help them unleash that potential that they have, right? Is there any pockets of room for improvement? Okay, is there any hidden potential that is lying dormant? And try to unlock that potential, right? And try to help them improve. But attitude, right, unlike talent, is something that we can control, right? It's something that we can develop and we can control. Now, sometimes when students come, they give me the kind of not so ideal attitude, right? Like they don't want to put in the effort. They are lazy to do the work. They hear the word homework, right? And you can see the pain in their face, like, oh no, right? Homework, more work, I have homework from school, I have homework from my other tuition, and I come here, Mr. Chow is going to give me more homework, right? My world is falling apart. No, you can see the pain and the anguish in their face. Okay. But typically after talking to them, right? After, okay, just let me adjust the camera. So typically after speaking to these children, okay, or after a few sessions with me, I see an improvement in their attitude, right? Because it's all about the mindset. Okay, if you can adjust the mindset, okay, your attitude is going to improve. And when your attitude improves, you don't just see the improvement in English. You see an improvement across the board, right? So you understand why you're doing what you're doing. You have some clear goals, clear specific goals, and we try to work towards that, right? So attitude being something that we can control, I do not accept any excuse, alright? If after 6 months or even 1 year, I do give them a lot of time to adjust. Okay, I do not see an improvement in attitude. So what do I mean by poor attitude? Now these are the students who typically, they are just not concerned with making the positive changes that will make them become a better student, right? I have students coming late from day one. Okay, it's a disciplinary issue, and it's also in part due to their poor attitude. Okay, and after 1.5 years of tuition, 1.5 years, right? Not 1.5 months, 1.5 years of tuition. Okay? Every week he comes. Okay, and it's kind of like clockwork. Okay, because I know the boy so well that I know that he actually comes to my house for tuition, and his lesson starts at 7 p.m. Okay, and ends at 8:30. But when he comes from the lesson, okay, and I'll start to teach and start to get him to do some of the work, by around 8 p.m. he will be dozing off like clockwork, right? I can expect it to happen. So what I find myself doing is I try to cram as much of the teaching and the activities between 7 and 8 p.m., right? And compress that. And the lesson ends up being very rushed, and he doesn't digest the information very well, and the whole arrangement didn't work out, right, in the end. Okay, and because of this unwillingness, right, to improve the attitude, right, this child, the very same child, continues to talk back, interrupt me when I'm speaking. The entire lesson is just horrible, right? So after being given so much time to adjust and to change, it didn't happen, right? So I will be the first to admit that I cannot help everyone, right? If your child wants to improve and have the genuine desire to do well in his studies, what's the first sign, right? He feels bad when he gets bad results. Okay, he shows that he cares for his studies, and he feels that he's quite lost because nobody is there to guide him, right? By all means, sign him up for some lessons, either with me or with someone else. Okay, just find him a good tutor, somebody who can guide him, right? But students, with a horrible attitude, right? This video somehow ties in with the previous video, right, that I did when I asked the question: does your child really need one-to-one tuition, right? Go and watch that video if you have not done so. Okay, hopefully that will give you more insights as to how to help the child. Okay, there's another type of student that I cannot work with, alright, and that's laziness. Now, laziness stems from having a lack of effort, right? And sometimes that comes from having a lack of motivation. But that's not the type of laziness that I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about students who may want to improve, but they just do not have the energy to do so. So what do I mean? Now, most children have a lot of energy, much more energy than they need, right? And they are always, trying to want to do something with their hands, and they want to talk with their friends, and they want to play, right? They have lots of energy. So for these students, whether the energy comes across as positive or negative, it doesn't matter, right? As long as there's energy that I can work with, we can try to channel the energy in a constructive and positive way. Okay, that's why I'm here, right? To guide the child to channel his energy, okay, in a productive manner, right? But some kids, and I typically observe this in kids who are severely overweight, right? They just have a very low energy level. Okay, no offense to anyone watching this, who has some weight issues, right? That's just my observation and my personal opinion. Okay, because they do not have the energy, right? They come to lesson, they look tired, they have problems completing their homework at home, okay, and they have concentration issues, right? When I'm speaking, usually they're daydreaming, or they're starting to doze off, or they've already fallen asleep, okay, because they're so tired, right? Just a little bit of activity makes them breathless, right? And it makes them tired, and they want to sleep. So these are the type of students that I cannot work with, right? But the good news is that this is usually a temporary problem, right? Okay, weight is something that we can manage, and we can reduce the weight so as to increase the level of energy that we have. So how do we do it? We do it through exercise, right? You need to encourage the child to exercise more, and we do it by controlling the diet. Now, the diet part, okay, and the exercise part. Exercise, you need discipline, all right? Without discipline, you're not going to, exercise regularly, or you're just going to pretend that you went for a jog when you have actually just like covered 50 meters, right? So you have to be honest with yourself and have the discipline. Go out there, exercise, lose some weight, right? School kids, after school, 2-3 times a week, in the late afternoon, just go out, try to burn some calories. Okay? It's always good for health. Okay. And but here comes the even more challenging part, which is the diet, right? The diet. How can our Singapore students grow to become overweight? Okay, a large part is from a sedentary lifestyle. They do not move enough, which ties in with the exercise point which I mentioned, right? And the other part is they are not watching their diet. In other words, they are consuming too many calories. And usually these calories come from where? They come from junk food, they come from fried food. And because some students have got self-control issues, they find that if the food is good, ice cream is good, I'm just going to eat more and more of it. Potato chips is good, I'm just going to eat more and more of it. I'm not going to stop. Not just students have this problem, right? Even adults sometimes we have this problem as well, right? So but for young children, how do we go about tackling this issue? I think here's where the adults can come in, okay, and they play a big part. First of all, set a good example for the kids, right? So if parents are going to have tidbits lying around the house, and they are the ones who eat those stuff uncontrollably, then the child will see that and the child will follow, right? There's no two way about it, right? The child is going to observe, say, hey, you are eating, right? Why can't I eat? So when the adult is not here, the parents are out working, in the afternoon they come back from school, they will just, grab a tub of ice cream and finish the whole tub in one sitting, right? That's just how kids are, right? You can say that we blame the child. Hey, how come you have no self-control? How come you don't control your diet? But being children, right? I don't think we should make them bear 100% full responsibility for what they are doing, right? Sometimes kids being kids, they just don't have the degree of control that adults have, right? They see something nice, they are going to be tempted to want to open it up. And when they open it up, and the first piece of potato chip goes into their mouth and it tastes so good and it brings them to some heavenly place in their head, right? They are not going to stop eating that bag of chips until they finish the entire bag, right? So the best way to go about doing this is don't have this junk food lying around, okay, and just don't have them in the house in the first place, right? So even if they're hungry, you can take a biscuit, okay? That's still better than eating junk food, right? You can have a biscuit, you can have maybe some chicken nuggets, right? That's still better than finishing one tub of ice cream, okay, on their own. Okay, don't have sweets lying around, right? They just pop them. Chocolates, right? These are foods with very high caloric content, and they are not going to really benefit the child. Okay, if they eat too much. And I think one important aspect of weight control is that always, because young kids, they need a lot of sleep, right? Always encourage them to sleep early, have a routine and stick to that routine. Okay, now I have kids or I have parents telling me that their kids, because they've been playing too much games on their mobile phone, right? And during the daytime, because the parents restrict their playtime, so what does the kid do? The kid wakes up at 3 a.m. in the morning just so that he can play his favorite game on his tablet or on his mobile phone, right? So then daytime, he's not going to have the energy to attend lessons. He's going to doze off, and then everybody will be wondering, right? What happened to the kid? Okay, nobody knows. Okay, only the kid knows that he did not get his full 8 hours sleep, right? And that's why he's feeling sleepy. Okay, and the last group of students that I cannot work with, okay, are students with special needs. For example, students with ADD, or autistic children. This group of special kids, right? We call them having special needs. Okay, it's because they really do need special care and attention, right? The people working with them should be specially trained, okay, and have the expertise and the knowledge to help them out. Which brings me to my next point, right? As to the reasons why I cannot work with some of these kids. Now, if you review the list of kids that I've mentioned, right? Kids who have anger management issues, autistic kids with special needs, kids who are overweight, health issues. Now, all these different issues probably require somebody with very specific knowledge and expertise to be able to really do a good job helping them. When I, for one, I'm just a private tutor, right? I teach English, and I have to admit I don't have this special knowledge, right? So what I'm going to do at the end of this video is I'm going to source for some links that points to the right resources. So if you think your child needs help in some of these special areas, please you can always visit these links. I'll leave them somewhere in the video descriptions, and hopefully that will help you out. Alright, this video has been running on for some time now, so most of the kids that I work with, they are pretty okay, right? Of course, kids being kids, they will always have their mood swings. They will always have their tantrums, right? But by and large, over the course of a period of time, they are okay. Okay, bottom line, they are learning from me, okay, and they are making progress. So in other words, they are moving closer towards their goals. Okay, so that's all I have, okay, that I want to say in this video. And thanks for watching. If you have got this far, I've tortured you enough, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.